Hello, thanks for joining me again. Now, sometimes people say, well, why doesn't God show that He loves us? I brought a blue handkerchief along just to show you something that the Bible tells us how God loves us. That something happened in history to show us that God loves us. I've got a blue handkerchief, I've got a red one, and I've got a green one. And they all represent something. So the blue stands for God who is in heaven. The red stands for Jesus who came into this world and who died on a cross. And then we've got the green, which represents you and I, because we're from the earth. Now, you can see that these three are separate. But you know, that is not what God ever intended for us. Right at the very beginning of creation, it tells us that when God made the first man and the first woman, you read about it in Genesis chapter 3, that God came into the garden looking to talk to Adam and Eve. What a wonderful thought that is, that God actually wants to talk to us. Now, He had given them a commandment, and He told them not to, that they could eat of any of the trees in the garden, but not of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So you could say it wasn't the fruit on the tree was the problem, but it was the pear on the ground. Well, I hope you're laughing at that. That's meant to be a joke. But you know, it's a very serious business really, because it caused a separation between us and God. And God did something about that for us. And I brought something else along to try and help us think about what He did. And what He did was, He sent His Son Jesus into the world. That's the first thing He did. Can you imagine that God the Father and God the Son lived up in heaven for all eternity, and suddenly they were separated? God sent His Son into this world. Then Jesus came, and when He came and he became like you and I, in the sense that He was human, but still very God. And when He came into this world, the Bible tells us He never did anything wrong. He never did anything wrong at all. He lived amongst us. He grew up like anybody would grow up. The Bible tells us that He was human, that He was tired, that He felt compassion on people. And He did all of this so that you and I could be friends with Him again, not be separate anymore. And basically, what we find is that Jesus, we're told, went and died on the cross. And what we're told about Him is this, that He was put in a tomb. And when He was put in a tomb, well, people thought that was the end. But you know, there were some women who came to that tomb, and they were worried about finding the stone that was there and whether it would be rolled away. Well, there's a funny scene in the Bible where it tells us that an angel came and rolled the stone away and then sat on the stone. Can you picture that? The angel sat on the stone. It's almost like He's saying, actually, that was nothing to me. I could roll that away quite easily. But you know, the great thing is this. When they looked into the tomb, they found that Jesus wasn't there. And that shows us that when Jesus died upon the cross, God accepted the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. We're told that all of us have sinned. We all fall short of God's standard. And because of that, we are separated from God. Well, God isn't happy with that. He wanted to do something about it. And that's what He did. He sent Jesus into this world. Well, you're probably wondering why I've got this tube, why I've put everything in here. That's just to show you that my handkerchiefs that were separate, when Jesus died, what He did was He did something for us, something wonderful. Let's see what happens. Let's hope I have enough puff now to blow through this. And there we have it. And now you can see that we are separate no more, that we're all tied together. And the reason we can be tied together is because of Jesus, who came into this world and died for us. Now that's because God really wants to be in relationship with you and I. But we do have to do something about it. The Bible tells us that for all those that received him, he gave the right to become children of God. It means we have to do something about it. If you like, God did show that he loves us. In fact, the Bible tells us that God demonstrated his love for us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter how you feel about yourself, while you were still a sinner, Christ died for you. He's not looking for you to be good enough now to come to know him. Remember the thief on the cross. He couldn't come down off of that cross and live his life over. All he could do was recognize Jesus and turn to him. And that's what he did. And then Jesus recognized him as well. So I hope that helps you. It certainly helps me when I think about what God has done. I don't have to think, well, I need something for God to do to show that he loves me. He's already done it in history. And what he's done is he's enabled me to come into a relationship and friendship with him. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope you found that helpful. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.